Welcome to the Innovative Hotelier, brought to you by Hotels Magazine. I'm your host, Robin Trimingham. It's no secret that Gen Z is the first generation to grow up fully online, and their research and booking behavior is poised to revolutionize the travel industry as they gradually become the largest traveler demographic. In fact, a recent report published by American Express has revealed that 79% of Gen Z and millennial respondents would agree that they see leisure travel as an important budget priority, and 84% would rather take a dream vacation than purchase a new luxury item. So, given the rapidly expanding rate of this relatively new traveler group, I thought it would be interesting to take a closer look at their characteristics and to get an understanding of how to design travel experiences successfully and market to them. My guest today, Mark Lewis Brown, is the president and CEO of Zucchetti North America, and he's here today to offer ideas and insights for closing the deal with Gen Z. Join me now for my conversation with Mark. FOH is a global food service and hospitality company that manufactures smart, commercial-grade solutions. Headquartered in Miami, the company designs and manufactures all their restaurant and hotel products. They have showrooms and distribution centers located throughout the globe, and their products are always in stock and ready to ship from any of their distribution centers worldwide. Welcome, Mark. It's great to get a chance to talk to you today.
Thanks, Robin. It's great to be here.
I'm actually really looking forward to this conversation because, I think we could all do to learn and understand a little bit more about Gen Z. Can you start us off here, though? What are a few of the key characteristics of this traveler demographic that you've been coming across?
Well, we know that they're the first digital native users out there. So they've started right off with their phones and computers and any other technology they're using. And just to talk about how old they are, they're 9 to 24 years old. There's about 68 million of them, so it's huge. And many of them, the demographic in the group is huge, and many of them are just coming of age now, and to the point where they can travel. They're finishing their schooling, and they're travelers. So they've grown up in the world with a different view than many of us did, and how they act. They're also they love to travel. They've been taught to travel. Their parents have traveled with them, and they're part of the pandemic. So many of them didn't have the high school ending like a lot of the other kids did.
Yeah,
it was filled with other things, and their parents. And their parents traveled with them. I have two Gen Zs at home, so I can tell you that we traveled. They were very much part of the traveling world, and a lot more than I was, I can tell you that. And they're obviously using social media, and they're operating much differently than the previous millennials are, and they're a valuable group for the hotel industry.
Obviously every single generation that comes along before us and after us is going to be completely unique in its own way. Why do you suppose it is that travel is so important to this group at such a relatively young age?
Well, I think that they've seen it everywhere they go, right? If you look at TikTok, I have to say I use as well, and my kids have got me into it. TikTok's very quick to realize, and a lot of the other apps are too, what you like. So they're going to keep showing you that, right? And so my daughters like to travel, and they're constantly getting, videos of cool places and unique places that I think in the past you and I might not have ever considered going. But now, because of the way social media is, it's showing us a lot more than what we would have seen previously. And, you see some of these beautiful, beautiful videos of, obscure locations. And, they're out there looking at those and making decisions based upon those kinds of things instead of the standard, like, I'll go to New York City kind of thing. It's a purpose. There's more of a purpose there.
That's raises a very interesting point because, even personally, I have to agree with you. Drone footage, of these really remote, beautiful, almost impossible to get to places, they really do make it look like it's just around the corner and feasible to go there. How then is technology playing a role in shaping the planning and booking of their travel experiences?
Well, just like you mentioned, the technology to show us where we're going has changed with drones and all that. They're also using their smartphones. They're smartphone users. It's mobile first. That's how they book. Unlike the older generation like myself, I use the computer. I might use the phone a little bit, but then I graduate to the computer where it's just the opposite for them. They might use their computer, but they're going to use their phone and go on the apps that are only on the mobile, right? And get the information and see the videos and all that there. So, obviously Facebook and Instagram are still being used, but and this is from the Hopper. I think Hopper published this report that it's Facebook and Instagram are the main places they're going versus and then TikTok and Snapchat are next. So they're using apps and unconventional media than what the rest of the world uses.
I find this very, very interesting, because when I started booking trips, this is going to make our viewers just laugh themselves silly. I can remember, I absolutely used the internet, but the internet was for doing my research. And then I would pick up the telephone and call the travel agent and make her deal with it all. I'd book the thing online. Oh, no, you would never do that. You needed a person to do this for you.
You don't want to take a chance. You need the expert to do this, and or even the guidebooks. We used to start with a guidebook, right? So it's
well, that too. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, what is the data saying then? How is all of this impacting Gen Z booking patterns?
Well, they're obviously, they're using their phone once again. They're much more price conscious. So they're looking at the whole picture. So it's not only the airfare and the hotel, but they're comparing, like, I want this experience. How much is it going to cost? And putting all these experiences together to get their final cost, right? So they're looking to cut costs where they can so they can add more experiences. They're not, where I think a lot of the world goes out right now and says, I'm going to go to, Daytona Beach. And really, what do? You book the hotel and the airfare, and a lot of people would go there and make their plans later. But the Gen Zs, they know what they want to go see. They want to look for those Instagram locations where they can take pictures and have experiences. So they're price conscious, and they check more often too. They're always looking and comparing and seeing what's out there. And they're highly influenced by ratings and reviews and what individuals are saying. It's not even the combined ratings that you might see on some of the websites. What's really important is that those individuals that are there and making videos, their ratings too, right?
You're making me think of a secondary question I'd love to ask you. I agree with what you're saying, by the way, because my experience of Gen Z has been exactly the same, that they seem really to want to control the entire experience before they've even packed their suitcase. For for somebody, I'm going to say my generation, if you will, travel was about adventure. Travel was about, going somewhere new and not knowing what was going to happen. We would figure it out when we got there, just the way you said. Do you feel then that that being in control is super important to these guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they're doing much more planning than I would do, prior to going someplace. And I agree, half the fun for me was to show up someplace and see how it goes, right? I mean, you knew you had a place to stay, you knew you had your airfare, and then the rest was a game. And I think it's a lot different now. And you could even see it in some of the videos where, I'm up in Portland. I just saw some things on Portland where they're like bang, bang, bang. This is my day in Portland, and they've seen 20 things and taken pictures. I would have been exhausted, half the way through. So they're spending a lot of time. This coffee shop I've got to go to, this ice cream store, I got to take a picture here, and so there's a lot of planning going on.
So, with all of that, would you say then that it's more effective to market to Gen Z using an OTA or a direct booking method?
Well, the OTAs are always going to be there. They're always something that you have to pay attention to. I don't think they're out there. Of course, they're going to try to attract the Gen Z group, but I think that they're probably being used more as a tool to get information on where they want to go and potentially where they want to stay. There are some hotel groups, I think, like the Moxie hotels by Marriott. They're obviously trying to attract that group, but ultimately the attraction comes when you get right to the hotel's website, and that's whether it's the Moxie or it's an independent hotel, because when you get them on your website, that's where you can really use your own pictures and social media and all that to attract them by showing them, you have to show them what the experience is going to be, because they know the bed's there. It's more about what else is there. What else can I get? Are there some good pictures? Are there, things that are going to, go good on Instagram, and and then where are they located? Are they close to all the other things I want to go to? But you have the most control at your website. I think ultimately, more the Gen Z is going to end up there. You can offer packages. There are several hotels that I've that done it well. The Jupiter Hotel in Portland is very much looking for the Gen Z group, and it shows in what they're offering for their packaging and how they're doing it, and even going as far as showing where their little, where you can take your picture and add it to social media.
Yeah, we have a couple hotels here where there are definitely spots. Oh, take your picture here. I'm wondering about all of this, though, because you've talked about how much they're using TikTok and Instagram to make travel decisions. If you're a traditional hotelier that's used to traditional marketing methods, a website where you could book direct or an OTA, how do you effectively market a hotel product through one of these other ones, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever?
Well, you go to where they're going, right? So you can put your own videos on TikTok, and with promotions, listed, and websites listed and all that. Also, you can use your guests to help you, right? So promoting your guests to, do a video or, pictures or whatever of your property. And you can link everything to your direct booking engine from a lot of these social media platforms, which you can't do really from an OTA, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying that you still need to pay close attention to the OTAs. You could still put pictures in the OTA that are attractive to the Gen Zs. So there's still ways to do both. You can also even work with, I've seen hotels work with influencers, people that have a large base, lots of followers, and use them to promote their hotel. So there are ways to do it, and I'm sure they'll grow and change. But you just, and also hire a Gen Z to help you, right? They're the best. Yeah.
So you mentioned influencers, and I'm curious on your opinion. Does working with influencers work? I mean, is Gen Z willing to buy into they should listen to an influencer, or are they more savvy than that? What do you think?
That's a good question. Influencers, they do work. They get paid to do it. Every Gen Z would love to be an influencer, right? So my daughters have, it's amazing, several other people they follow and that truly do influence them. So I personally think it does work. I think it's all about, what is their base? How many people do they connect with? And what are the people? So is it an influencer that does travel all the time, or is it an influencer who does a million different things? You've got to decide, the influencer that does all kinds of different things, you're just picking out a few people here and there, where a travel influencer, has a lot more power when it comes to travel, obviously. I mean, I follow a couple of travel influencers that are flying different airlines, and I like to, I travel a lot, so internationally, I'd like to see what, maybe I'll try something different this time and see what I see online.
Established in 2002, FOH is a woman-owned global food service and hospitality company that manufactures smart, savvy, commercial-grade products, including plateware, drinkware, flatware, hotel amenities, and more. Driven by innovation, FOH is dedicated to delivering that wow experience that restaurants and hotels crave, all while maintaining a competitive price. All products are fully customizable, and many are also created using sustainable, eco-friendly materials such as straws and plates made from biodegradable paper and wood and PBA-free drinkware. FOH has 2 established brands: Front of the House, focused on tabletop and buffet solutions, and Room 360, which offers hotel products. Check out their collections today at fohworldwide.com. What about top things that are influencing Gen Z's choice of destination? Is there a difference between domestic and international travel when it comes to all of this?
Well, they're very into culture and learning about new cultures. I know my daughters have been. We've been to Italy and Mexico, and they've been around in the culture. They love learning about the culture and about the differences in the world. So I think cultural things are important internationally, probably more than they would be here in the U.S. I think in the U.S. you're looking at, they're looking at, more aesthetic, environmental things and beaches and things like that. They're looking for those Instagrammable locations, and also social issues matter to these folks as well. So remember, they've been part of the world where there's a lot going on socially with climate change.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of aspects like that they've seen, and those kind of things are important to them. So my daughters pay close attention to that, and they're also visiting places they've seen on TV as well, because they still watch TV. Then they compare it to what they find on social media, and and also the LGBTQ situation right now. I know that a lot of these Gen Zs are really sensitive to that, and they want to stay in places that are supporting it, just like climate change. So they're looking for they can just be even subtle things that show the support of these, of the hotel industry.
I get the opportunity in my position to chat with everybody about all kinds of issues affecting travel. It's interesting that you talk about their awareness of social issues and climate change. Are they really making booking decisions based on whether or not a hotel has an effective ESG program in place?
I think it does have an influence, but I think what's important is that if you're publishing that, and you need to make sure you're following through with it, because with the Gen Z, there's nothing worse than them making the decision to visit, but then getting there and finding out it's not accurate, right?
That's interesting.
Because
Yeah.
the first ones to point out those kind of deficiencies, in a video. Um, yeah, so they are making decisions that way. I mean, my daughters are the first ones to tell me, if we're getting in an Uber, push the electric button. They want to, they're those people, right? That are pushing the buttons of other, that give you the carbon setback, or the electric car or whatever. It's part of their life.
So, how are they allocating their travel budget? We've talked about them wanting to go a lot of exotic places and do a ton of things. Is there any data on how much they're spending in these different categories?
I don't have specific spending, but we know that they're like everybody else. They want a price, a good price for the best product, right? So they want to go luxury, but they, with the way they're traveling, you can't afford luxury, just because of the cost of the luxury, but they also want to add so much to it. Food is real important. They're foodies. And so they've got a lot, like previously, they've got a lot of plans while they're there. So they're very price conscious. So, and, they're looking for also experiences that are potentially wrapped into a package, or something added on to their travel decision.
So you've talked about price being important. How important is price transparency, and how should we go about explaining this to Gen Z? Because if you go to a traditional resort, you've got the price on the website, and then when you get there, there's the resort fee, there's the city fee, there's the state fee, and it just kind of adds up and up and up, and you get this hotel bill that is significantly larger than what you were originally thinking.
That's right. I mean, yeah, and price transparency for them is huge, and it does influence their travel decisions. I think they're one of the first groups, if you think about it, that have used delivery services, right? And my daughters, and I've heard this straight from their mouth, it started out free, right? Delivery is free, but now, delivery includes a delivery fee, a service fee, a tip, and they've seen this pricing discrepancy, right? So they know about it already. And you're right, in the hotel world, I was just at a resort. I ordered a $20 pizza that cost $45 when I signed the bill in my room, right? And my daughter, like, that's a ripoff, and it's, we should have just gone and bought the pizza or ordered pizza directly. So, they're thinking past, they're gonna think past all these fees and how they could avoid them. And I think it's the right time too. I think we're seeing a lot about the hotel fees, resort fees, and even out in the media right now, right? The government's even looking at those because $45-50. I know I just parked a car for $70 a night in Seattle, and
for $70 a night, you can get an Airbnb in some places.
My daughters were appalled. So, yeah.
So, how would you say is the best way to design a travel promotion that actually is going to attract Gen Z?
Well, I mean, what I've seen that I think, and I know is effective is making sure that, in the travel promotion, whatever you're doing is addressing them specifically, right? So it could be, you could do something within the hotel or something in the area. I've seen things like, includes a map of the number one Instagrammable photo locations, 2 bottles of, sparkling local water, things like that, where they feel like they're just getting, something additional. And those things are easy to do on booking engines and hotel websites, and don't take a huge amount of work. But they should also, push the, eco-friendly, all of the other pieces on there that they want to see on the website. It should be a very easy, an easy thing to do. I've seen hotels. There's a hotel in Albuquerque, the Hotel Zaza, that I would say does one of the best jobs when it comes to marketing to these Gen Z folks. They've taken an old hotel on Route 66 and turned it into a really cool happening place. And with things like, come find the golden banana. They have a couple golden bananas around, and what that does is when you pull it, it opens the door to the speakeasy. And they've got a little speakeasy they've made, and they've out by the pool they've got a big screen with movies playing, and they've just got all these spots for the Gen Z folks to hang around in, and they get the social media out. I mean, their guests have just issued tons of videos from them, and they're just doing a great job.
Sounds like a really fun place.
It's a fun place. It's a moderate place. It's not, it's the perfect price level. It's a good example if you go look about, what the Gen Z is looking for.
So we've got a couple of minutes left here.
Sure.
Let's talk about where everything is heading with AI, because I've talked to different people involved in developing apps and that can make recommendations based on what you're already doing with your phone. Where do you think all of this stuff is heading?
Well, I think, I think we see it every day already, right? In things that we do. A lot of times we don't even realize that's what it is, like the chat bots, and, they're and those chat bots obviously are collecting data, giving suggestions, trying to reduce the support required by people, and it's going to continue to grow. So I think it's a space that the hotels need to make sure that they're playing in. I think it's very early. Like I don't think you're going to see anything specific to a hotel right now, other than you can go into the chat and ask for a list of hotels in a location, and it will pull you up a list and give you details and all that. But a lot of that's being pulled from the internet, right? So it's just making sure you have some of these things on your website or on the internet. But it is something that the hotels are going to have to stay on top of, because it does appeal to the Gen Z there. And I think since we've seen it recently, you figure how long has this been out? We've all tried it, right? We've all gone in and just to see what it does, and it is the future for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Every day there's new uses for this that actually is really kind of helpful. So someday, Gen Z, dare I say it, will be our age. What do you think travel will look like by then?
Well, I think that the whole thing, we'll look back at it, or they'll look back at it just like we have, right? Like, can you believe that we used to, book a hotel on a website? Who knows, right? I think it's completely open about how they're going to, experience the travel, experience travel, and hopefully they'll be able to get places quicker and easier than we are right now, because obviously I think we've all experienced the pain of traveling.
Yeah.
The pain of getting there, right? And also, I think they'll probably have more accurate data to make sure that what they're looking for an experience is what they get. I think everybody in our in our age bracket, we've all been burned before, right? Because we didn't get what we were expecting, and I think that's changing. I think now expectations are clear, and I think that will get better and better. You'll know exactly what you're getting, and is that good or bad? I'm not sure. I sometimes I don't mind getting a surprise as long as it's not a bad surprise, right? But I think surprises are going to be less and less.
Well, I think that making experiences be better quality can only be a good thing because you have to deliver, what you're promising. Mark, it's been a pleasure to meet you. I want to thank you so much for your time today. You've been watching The Innovative Hotelier. Join us again soon for more up-to-the-minute information and insights specifically for the hotel and hospitality industry.